Hello, this is Changlin. I have been working on Unidata UniVerse database engines for more than 25 years. And today I'm going to give you a brief introduction to the configuration of UniVerse recoverable file system. Let's review the system diagram first. The centerpiece of the system buffer is right here, along with some daemon process and the login system. So the first one is the active file table. And then the second one is a physical log table. The block index group, the system buffer pages, the log buffers, the before image logs, the after image logs, the archiving system, the sync daemon, the checkpoint daemon. Those are the things we can do some configuration around them. For the configuration of UniVerse recoverable file system, those are the three files we're going to mainly work on. The first one is the main UniVerse configuration file, which is pretty old file, but with lots of new parameters for the system buffer. The second one, log config file, which defines the before image log, after image log files. The third one is the arch config file, which defines the archive files. The first parameter we need to look into is this RFS mode parameter. 0 means system running with write-through mode. And under this mode, there is no before image, after image log are generated. So your data is not protected. The second option is that 1. It's a full protection mode. That means the before image and after image logs are generated to protect the data. There are 4 parameters concerning the AFT table. The first one is the NAFT, which defines the number of total entries in the AFT table. The AFT table is further divided into sections. So this parameter defines how many sections you want to have. You want to divide the AFT into. The third parameter, NAFT section bucket, defines how many buckets you want within one section. So this gives us the two-layer, those two parameters give us the two-layer hashing control. The fourth parameter is used by local UniVerse process. It is used to determine if a recoverable file is opened by the current local process. We need to have a mechanism to local search if a file is open or not by the current process. There are 3 parameters to control the system buffer pages. The first one is the nbig, which defines the total number of block index group the system has. For this parameter, we can set it up to hundreds, thousands, 10,000, or even more to meet your requirement. The second one is the total number of pages in the system buffer. The third one is the page size of the system buffer page. It can be either 1K, 2K, 4K, 8K, and so forth. Those are the parameters related to before image, after image log, and how they are going to be flashed. The first group, the number of before image log and the number of after image log. Those numbers must match the log config file. The second group specify the log buffer size for before image log and after image log. The next two sets of the parameters defines how the log daemon process will flush their organized blocks. The log daemon process usually writes blocks by blocks, and so this defines what's the minimum block, what's the maximum block it can flush. Those are related to some logic of the other components. For example, if someone is waiting on the flushing of this log, then we probably don't want the number of blocks flushed at the same time too big. And so those are the number controlling how the log blocks are flushed to disk. The last parameter specifies if our log files are overflowed, where they are going to be saved. So this is where the extension of the log files will be saved here. There are 4 parameters concerning checkpointing and sync daemons. The first one is a checkpoint time, which defines the time of interval the checkpoint should switch. Usually, if you have a longer checkpoint time, it means your database recovery time it will be running a little longer. And the second parameter, the group commit time, defines how or when or how frequently the after image log will be flushed to their log files. Usually we want this number be smaller and so that we will have less lost operations if the database crashes. The unsync defines the number of sync daemons the system has. For Unidata, it could be 0, but for UniVerse, we have to have 1, at least 1, because sync daemon now has new responsibility to do some housekeeping work for the system overall accuracy. And the fourth parameter, sync time, defines the how frequently the sync daemons should do their housekeeping work. Those 3 parameters compute the archiving. The first one is enable or disable. If you enable it, then we have to specify how many archive files in the archive configuration. The third one is archive backup. So while the archive files are generated or are filling up, so we need to offload the archive files to a safer place. So if you enable it, another daemon process will be running, and this daemon process will responsible for offloading the archive files to different locations. This is the default log config file shipped with UniVerse 12.1.1. This is correspondent to n before image equals 2, n after image log equals 2. The checkpoint dim algorithm requires two sets of the log files. The first set contains those 4 log files. The attributes tells if the file is an after image log file or they are before image log files. This is the path of the file, and this is the block size. This is the starting block, and this is the length of the blocks. The second set includes those 4 log files. Again, we have 2 after image log files, 2 before image log files. The last one is for file level recovery purpose. This is the default art config file of the system because we have the nArch equals to 2, so we have 2 entries in the file. One is the first arch file is this path, the second arch file is this path, and this is their block size and starting block and the number of blocks. Those are the 2 scripts you might want to change if you enable the archiving backup. The first one is used to offload the archive file to our safe place. In our case, we just copy this file to a different location. In your case, you can copy this file to a network drive or transfer the file to using a secure way to another place. The second script is used reverse retrieving the archive file back, and in case we are running media recovery. This is a demo for configuring UniVerse 12.1.1 recoverable file system. So I have a default installation to this directory. That is my current directory. And this is a default installation. Let me bring the system up. Yes, we can see there is a SM process, the system monitor process. Also, we have the 2 daemon processes, and those daemon processes are all owned by UVDB. Let me check the UVIPC stack, and those are the IPC facilities used by the system. So we can see we have the system buffer control area. We have the system buffer pages, which is about 500. Let me see. Yeah, 500 meg, and we have other IPC facilities. Those are owned by UVDB, and their permission is 600. So I want to first I want to switch the system to full protection mode. By default, it's read-through mode. So let me stop the system. First, I want to make sure I have the correct license. I run UV region-z, so I can see I have the UV RFS license. And let me change the UV config file. I want to switch this one from red through to full protection mode. Also, I want to adjust some of it. For example, the unput. That's a certain buffer page size. I want to put, for example, change this one to 8. So it's like 800 meg. Also, I want to change my NFT 500 to 8,000. So after this is done, I need to run UV region. Also, I need to initialize the login system. So that after those are done, so I try to bring the system up. So let's see how many new daemon processes are there. The first, we have one after image log daemon process. We have another one. We have two before image log process. We have the checkpoint daemon running, and those sync daemon are still there. So let me look at the UV IPC. So that we have a much bigger segment for the system buffer. Also, we have a bigger in a control area. That is because we increase the number of AFT. So that is how full protection mode the daemon processes are looking like. And now I want to bring more. I want to enable the archiving system. First, I want to do another adjustment to increase the number of after image log. So first, I need to change the UV config file, find the parameter NAIMG. So right now it's 2. I change that to 3. Make sure my system is not running. So another thing I need to do is change the log config file. As we know, each checkpoint uses like we have two pairs of the logins. So we wanna, since our after image log should be 3, each of the cells should have 3 archive. The name first one I name it X. The other one I want to give it the name Y. So just any name you want. And there are attributes, after image log, the new one is after image. So after this is changed, so I run UV regen, and I need to re-initialize the login system by running UV control install. So let me bring this system up. So we can see we were having like 2 after image log. Now we have 1 more. So the identifier is 0, 1, 2. So we have additionally 1 log files running there. Let me start another station to see how user station looks like. So this is the old list user stating that we have a process ID is 27263, but we have an additional form option for that one. So we know there's a 2-process architecture. The front process is ending with 263, and the backend process is 264. And if we look at the 2 process, the 264 is this one. It's the backend. It's owned by UVDB, and the backend process, the parent process, is the front end process. So that's the 2-process architecture in UniVerse 12.1.1. Now I want more. I want to enable the archiving system. So I need first I shut down the database. Then I find the archive flag. So the archive flag is 0, I turn it on. I make sure I have 2 archive files, and we will look at the arch file config file. And we have the archive backup setting to 1. That means we will have another daemon running. This is the default, and then the arch config we have 2 entries. So let me run UV region and run UV control install. So after that's done, let me try the. So let's see what are the new daemon process. So we have those are old one. This one is new, the UV archive process. And also we have the UV archive backup daemon process. What those two processes does is the archive process transfers the previous checkpoint after image log from the after image logs to the archive file. And in the case of archive file is full, then the archive backup D will further transfer the archive files into another safe place. That's pretty much the UniVerse 12.1.1 recoverable file system looks like. And I hope this gave you much information you need. Thank you.